Hello my lovelies, and welcome back to Sawyer Tarot. If you're new here, hi, hello, and welcome. This is my deck strength versus weakness series. Apologies, this is for the month of April 2024. We are a little behind schedule thanks to work-related scheduling issues. Anyway, for those of you that may be new to this series, I usually feature a deck voted on by my subscribers where we go through the strength, the weakness of the deck that we are featuring. I usually offer another deck that has that same strength or a deck that makes up for that weakness, the job of the deck for my collection, another deck if I've got one that has the same job, as well as whether or not the deck is worth purchasing. That is part 1. Parts 2 through 5 are perfect pairs and anti-pairs for both tarot and oracle, and I usually release those consecutively. So, for April 2024, our featured deck of the month, and let me zoom you in here so you could get a closer glimpse, is the Out of Hand Tarot by Sawyer. This is a 2022 Kickstarter deck. I actually like the boxing on this because it's the pull top. It's fantastic. Anyway, here are the cards, the backings. This is an edge deck. It is also a modern deck. So you're going to see modern items, modern views, all in the artwork that Jamie has included. So let me go ahead and adjust this just a tad, and I apologize for zooming in and out on you. Right, I'm going to flip through some of these as we talk, so you'll get a chance to see how some of this is modern, how it fits in. And this is all a deck that is modern naming for, or not modern, standard naming for majors and minors, as well as suits. So there's no changes there. There's also no additional cards in this deck. And Jamie did the artwork for it. You can literally see the deck within the deck. But the strength of this deck is actually career. And I quite enjoy it as a career deck. And just so you have a frame of reference of another deck I could grab in my collection that is also a career deck, this is the Tarot of Pirates. It is also a deck that has career as a strength. As you can see, as they're next to each other, they are definitely not alike in appearance. Aesthetics are never a factor when I say a deck does pair or does not pair. Just FYI, if you are new to my channel, it's about the energy. It's not about the aesthetics. We're not here to pair decks that look pretty next to each other and call it good. But these are two decks that actually have the same strength. They actually fill the same category. You know, because we usually have different categories in our collection, whether it's love, career, spirituality, shadow work. Those two happen to be career. Now, when it comes to the Out of Hand Tarot here, it does have a weakness. It only has one, same as the strength, and that is spirituality. So if you're wanting to read for spiritual matters, spiritual evolution, this is not the deck you go to. This deck does not make a lot of sense when it comes to that area. It will literally trip you up. Now that I said that, when it comes to the Out of Hand Tarot, if I can't grab this particular deck for spirituality, well, what deck can I grab? Here is another one I have in my collection. This is the Unfolding Path Tarot. This was also an indie deck. It was a Kickstarter deck originally. I have both the Kickstarter version as well as the mass market, and it helps if I put it right side up so you can see it. And its strength is actually spirituality. So if I can't use this as a spirituality deck, here's another deck that is in my collection that I can grab very readily that will cover the weakness of this particular deck. It's all fine and dandy to do a career reading, but when a career has something to do with spirituality or spiritual evolution, perhaps you're wanting somebody who wants to start, as an example, a life coaching business. Well, this would cover the career portion, the actual building of the business, but it wouldn't cover the spiritual journey aspect. So pairing these two decks together might be a better way to read for that said individual, just as an example. Now, every job usually, or not every job, every deck has a job in a collection, whether it's a very common job or a very specific job. I always thought this deck was very unique when it comes to my career decks, and it is. And it's because the job this deck has in my collection is, well, to simplify it, money management. This is the deck that will tell me what I can spend and what I can't spend, and why. Exactly why I can or cannot. So if I want to splurge and indulge myself and want items, this is not the deck I go for. Why? Because this deck will literally spew cards out and say, Celeste, there's rocks in the driveway. Go get them. You don't need to buy that crystal. So there are times when I will avoid this deck simply because I know what it will tell me. But at the same time, you need decks that give you that hard truth. And this is one of those when it comes to the career sector. And I've described that as money management. Unfortunately, I do not have another deck in my collection that does that job. This is the only one in my collection that has that specific job. Alright, now when it comes to whether or not this deck is worth purchasing, I'm going to zoom us back out a little bit. I've already showed you the nice sturdy two-piece box. We do have a lovely guidebook from Sawyer. And it does have tarot spreads. But what's nice about her guidebook is that she gives you the title, keywords, a description, the astrological correspondence with it, and then drawing notes because she drew all of it. So you get to see a description of what's in there. But she also gives you this little teaser at the bottom called Easter eggs. She hides things in her artwork. And the closer you look at the deck, the more you notice them without having to look at the guidebook. But it's kind of an Easter egg hunt, and it's fun. You see all the RWS references. Some of them are hidden as tattoos. Some of them are just hidden in the background or very faint, and you have to take a closer look. But still fun. It's still a very fun guidebook, and I'm happy that some of the references you can see clearly, and then others she hid, like on this one, as tattoos on the arm, where the astrological placement is actually on the shirt in the corner of the pocket right here of the apron. So, you know, things like that. It makes it a really fun deck for a modern deck. And this is coming from me, somebody who doesn't like modern decks. In fact, this is the very first modern deck I was ever drawn to and had to have. And since it has a unique place in my collection, it was definitely worth it for me. Now, love it, hate it for modern decks, that is completely up to you. It is edged, whether you consider that a pro or con. The cardstock is fabulous. The box is fabulous. It's got a good guidebook. However, this is an indie deck, so it is rather pricey. And this came out in 2022. If you find any available copies, yes, they will not be cheap. They may not be exactly easy to find, depending on whether or not Jamie has any additional copies left. So, whether or not you deem this a deck worth purchasing is up to you. Alright, my lovelies, that concludes part 1 of my Deck Strength versus Weakness series for April of 2024. Tomorrow we're going to cover Perfect Pairs Tarot Edition. So if you like this, are you interested in this deck, or would like to know how this series runs, by all means, please join me tomorrow. And I also have playlists for the Deck Strength versus Weakness, so the very opening video like this one of the series. I also have a Perfect Pairs and an Anti-Pair playlist for all the decks I've done so far in this series, if you're looking for a particular area of the series to go back for. And you can also find mentions of that in the description box down below. Alright, my lovelies, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. Bye.